The Picture House on Main Street was the first purpose-built cinema in the town. Opened about 1912, it was capable of seating over 500 customers. The entrance at pavement level led into a foyer with a central box office. The auditorium seating sloping down to the screen, as the natural lie of the land permitted this design, it was not necessary to build upwards. There was, however, a popular cafe at the first floor level. A report in the Ballymoney Free Press and Northern Counties Advertiser, dated 14th of September 1916, indicates that Mr. George Watson was associated with the Picture House, but whether as owner or manager is not clear. At the start of the First World War, the Picture House was reported to be enjoying good houses. The coming attraction was a film depicting life in the British Army and was expected to appeal to the patriotic sentiment of the public. No doubt it was also intended to encourage young men to volunteer for the armed services, as there was no conscription in Ireland. The auditorium could also be used for variety shows, talks, lectures, etc. And in August 1917, Mr. Double Rochford Wade, MA, gave a lecture on the work of St. Dunstan's Hostel in aid of soldiers and sailors blinded during the war. Several more lectures, concerts and entertainments were held during the war to raise funds for organisations such as the British Red Cross Society and the Prisoners of War Fund. The Picture House continued to accommodate entertainment other than the moving pictures after the war. At the start of 1928, the Bioscope, a trade newspaper, reports the ill health and the consequent death of Mr. Bob Cooper, who it describes as the popular manager of the Picture House Portrush, who was an old member of the trade who'd been connected with the house since its establishment some years ago. From this, it would seem that the aforementioned Mr. George Watson was the owner of the Picture House. Later in 1928, the Bioscope records the first of many special performances in aid of the Royal National Lifeboat Institute, who benefited to the grand sum of nearly £30, a not inconsiderable figure at that time. The RNLI would continue to benefit annually from such special performances. Other local organisations, such as the Hopefield Cottage Hospital and Portrush District Nursing Association, would also benefit from such events, although on a more occasional basis than the RNLI. Once again, the Bioscope is a source of our information when it reports the first 8 weeks of 1931 constituted another record in the progress of the Kershaw Projector Company. No less than 104 installations have been made in this very short period, and we attach a list of the various cinemas in which these installations have taken place. The Kershaw Projector Company was one of the leading cinema projector manufacturers at that time, and the list referred to includes Picture House Portrush, among cinemas in major towns and cities across the UK, including Belfast, London, Cardiff, Glasgow, Birmingham and Edinburgh. Portrush was certainly keeping up with the times and providing quality through the use of the latest technology. By 1932, the Picture House is advertising itself across Northern Ireland as the most up-to-date and comfortable provincial cinema in Ulster and a house of pleasing sound. It offers continuous performances from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Mondays to Saturdays, with a matinee on Saturday at 3 p.m, together with changes of programme on Mondays and Thursdays. An article in the Northern Whig, dated 20th of June 1932, tells us that a new sound system manufactured by BTH, British Thomson Houston Limited, is a guarantee that the interests of the audience are fully catered for. A further report in July by the same newspaper informs us that, under the management of Mr. Jack May, the Picture House has become one of the most up-to-date cinemas outside Belfast. The plaudits continued through the subsequent years, with in 1934 the Northern Whig again promoting the Picture House with aims constantly to provide with courtesy, comfort and cleanliness the very best form of entertainment provided by the cinema world. In 1936, the Picture House becomes embroiled in a legal action with 3 local shopkeepers whose premises adjoin the Picture House, seeking an injunction against the Portrush Estate Company Limited, owners of the cinema, to abate a nuisance caused by the assembly of queues outside the cinema. The barrister for the plaintiffs, Israel Samuels, Albert Rolich and Robert Lee, read affidavits from them, setting out the harm which they alleged had been done to their businesses by queues. In response, the barrister for the defence stated that the Picture House has been in existence for 20 years, and that this was the first action of this kind. It was significant that the action followed a very wet July when crowds gathered under a glass veranda of the Picture House to shelter from the weather. Mr. Justice McGaw did not think that he was justified in granting an injunction. Mr. Jack May continued as manager up to 1939, but advertisements appeared in 1940 naming Charles F. Quigley as manager.